Hello and welcome to Miko Microlearning. My name is John Miko, and this is the second video in the dynamic array series, this one focusing on the unique function. We'll go over the unique function syntax and several use cases for that. As always, the workbook to follow along with is available in the comments in the YouTube channel. And as a reminder, our first video in this series covered the sequence function and some basics of dynamic arrays. Sequence was a good function, but unique is much more powerful, you'll see in a moment. So what does the unique function do? Well, the unique function returns, when we give an array, it returns the unique occurrences of whatever you put into the function. So there are three parameters, three input parameters: the array itself, if you want to search by column, and something I call unique if you only want to return something one time. So let's look at a potential use case. We have a hybrid situation at Miko Inc., and we have employees and they come in the office sporadically, but maybe I want to track that. So I have over here in A3 down to A25 and B25, I have the employee's name and then the date that they came in. So some days they come in, some days they don't. But I'd like to know who came into the office this week. So John Smith may have come in multiple times, but I only want to return John Smith one time. The unique function will do that for me. So if I go to D3 and I type in equal unique and I give it the array, which is A3 through A25, and I'm not going to give it any of the optional parameters, and I hit enter, and those are the people that came in this week. Those are the 7 people that came in this week. Now I want to know if there's any of these people that came in just one time. So that is what I call unique. So if we do the same thing and I go to unique, and once again I give it A3 through A25, but this time I'm going to, in the third column, or the third parameter, I'm going to say true, and that's going to return items that occur exactly once. And it looks like Mitchell Michaels and Shiloh Samuels only came in one time during the year. Now what's kind of cool is, remember when we use a dynamic array function, it creates a dynamic array function which we can input into another function. So for example, I know this is the dynamic array function. It starts in A3 and goes to the, D3 and goes to the end. But I want to know like how many employees came in this week. So I can use a standard function like the COUNTA function. And I can say the function that starts in the D3, the dynamic array that starts in D3, and ends wherever it ends. Remember, the hashtag is the symbol I use for that. And it'll count, hey, we had 7 employees. And the beautiful thing about this is, let's say, well, this wasn't actually John Smith. This was wrong, and this was actually, I don't know, Darth Vader. So Darth Vader came in. That is now going to be our 8th employee. And Darth Vader only came in once. Dynamic array, very dynamic. So this is just with a standard array, but we can also use the unique function with other functions like COUNTIF and SUMIF to emulate a pivot table. So this next one I have over here in sales detail. I have a big table. Okay, this table has I think it's 8,000 rows and many columns. And it's kind of transactional data, and I want to analyze that. And I could do it with a pivot table, but what I'd like to do is maybe use a dynamic array so that it's kind of contained in an Excel workbook. So I have several subcategories over there. I'd like to know a list of those subcategories. So if I go to A5 and I say equal unique, and I'm going to say, oh, it's the sales detail table, and I want the subcategory column, and I just hit enter, and it will return, hey, football, cycling, tennis, all of the subcategories that we have in that sales transaction. I'd like to count how many transactions we have. I'm going to come over here, kind of like we would do with a pivot table. I'm going to say count if, and I'm going to count the same range, okay, sales detail, and I'm going to do the subcategory. But I want to count those things in A5, but I want to go to the bottom of the array. So I'm going to say hashtag or pound symbol, and basically that now creates a dynamic array. So just like that. And if I go over there and I change something, this will dynamically be updated. As well, I can use a SUMIF function, so I'm going to kind of go up to the top here so it doesn't go over my face. But if I use the SUMIF function, okay, and I want to sum the sales, I can do the same thing. I can say, look at the sales detail table. Let's look at the subcategory. If it matches what we find in A5 pound the whole way through the dynamic array, I want you to sum the sales column. Okay, so that's the syntax for SUMIF. I'm sure you've used that before. I hit enter, and now we have kind of what emulates a pivot table, right? So we have a count of all the transactions, and we have the sum of all transactions by subcategory. If we spin through here, you'll notice, fission only occurs once because someone misspelled fishing. So we could use, remember that unique, we could use that as kind of a quality tool to find, hey, are there any outliers, any things that only occur once? We could also use the COUNTIF as we did here. So once again, unique, really powerful. We're going to combine this with sort in the next video, but it's really a nice thing. You don't have to sort, you don't have to search. Use unique, and it will find the unique occurrences for you. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please like and subscribe, and take care until next time. Goodbye.